First, let me commend the entire leadership of Luo Nyanza for turning up to welcome the president. That is political maturity, and I must really commend it. That was excellent. Number two is that the president is a symbol of national unity, Sam, and he must serve every part of this country. In fact, I like the question that my colleague had posed to you, that it's the media that has continued to balkanize a section of this country. When you say the president, like I saw one of the newspapers yesterday saying the president invades Luo Nyanza, that is being totally unfair. The president is the head of state. There is no section of this country that has been carved out to say, no, this one you can't come unless you get a visa or something. It is part of this country. The planning, first of all, even before I go to the planning, is that, my colleague did mention, the president has worked very closely with the former prime minister. Years passed where they both were in ODM very closely. He is extremely conversant with Nyanza politics and Nyanza demands, economic demands. And that is why it was easy for him. I could see him speaking Luo, mentioning some roads, because it's not his first time being there. He's been there so many times with the former prime minister, and that is it. But let me come to this, Sam. Even though, like the president says, that he got 1% of the vote from Luo Nyanza, the president has been gracious enough to decide to have an economic handshake with the people of Luo Nyanza. Forget about the political handshake of 2018. That was a handshake of elites to fleece the people of this country. This one is an economic handshake that involves the leaders. It speaks directly to the people, and it speaks to the revival and economic revival of the people of Luo Nyanza. That is brilliant. You will realize that there has been deliberate effort by the president to make sure that Nyanza is fully represented in his government. For the first time, after so many years, you realize the heart of William Ruto's presidency. That section is handled by someone from Luo Nyanza. After Ezekiel Oyugui, the only other powerful Luo is in William Ruto's government, in Raymond Amolo, the PS of Interior. That is an extremely powerful office that has been given to the people of Luo Nyanza. I think the president made that deliberate appointment to make sure that no section of this country is not involved in his programs. Number two, they have a cabinet secretaries amongst other positions. This is an intention to bring together the people of Nyanza and make sure that they participate in economic development of our region. Earlier, 2 weeks ago, I had met my colleague Gladys Wanga, the governor of Homa Bay in Nyanyuki, when the president had called a retreat for the senior executive rank and file of his government, and she was part of, and we had a side chat with her. You can see that there is a lot of enthusiasm from the people of Luo Nyanza to make sure to participate in this government. And politics are over. We must now focus on this. It has taken so much, Sam, to have such kind of a meeting. The president also, of course, from his office, it's very easy to mobilize such a meeting, but it doesn't take the mobilization of the presidency to have such a meeting. It takes the local leaders to participate in such meeting. So what am I saying? I'm saying that prior to election, you remember the president went around the country doing the economic forums. Part of the things that the president was doing at this point was to breathe life into the economic forums that we had been discussed. And that is why you found in the meetings the discussion centered on how do we develop this region. There was housing plan in Homa Bay, for instance. In Kisumu, you went to the Kenya shipyard. They are doing so many projects. I'm lucky that, Kenya Defense Forces, the Kenya shipyard is headed by a brigadier, which I am the chair of Kenya Defense Forces. I'm conversant with the work that is involved there, the wagons they are going to bring, and so much work that is supposed to do. I recall that the Honorable Murkomen was also asked to visit that region and make sure that some roads that had stalled restarted. So that is massive for the people of Luo Nyanza, and that is what we want. We want an economic handshake with the people of Luo Nyanza. We want to speak to them. We want to work with them. We want to change every part of this country, and that is what was in our manifesto of the Kenya Kwanza.